All right, thank you all for joining me now. I'm now live. Sorry, I was actually having some technical. Apparently, I didn't know I was live. Usually, I change because I started a new stream. So let's look at this. This is total QPF. This is total. This is, I believe, total snow. As you can see, only 9 inches in New York City now. Compare this to the 18Z run. Everything is shifting further south. Further south and weaker. So, I mean, this isn't a good trend. If you want to see a lot of snow, this is very, very bad. Let's look at precipitation type and rate. Of course, this does not look very likely. I mean, look at this. Not only does it begin later than the 12Z, than the 18Z, not only does it begin later, but it ends earlier too. Like, okay, it doesn't end earlier, but basically you have much lighter precip rates. I mean, look at this. You had really, really heavy snow here, and here you're just having light snow. So I guess it's not really the position of the low. It's so much the let's look at the position of the low. It's more of like how much precip is here. I think that's the problem with this run of the GFS. Because yeah, the GFS is not very good with precip. I forgot. The position of the low, where it is as you can see, GFS does not handle precip very well, especially where coastal front sets up and all that other stuff. And why they're showing less precip? It's a lot to do with, I guess, where the center of the low is. Let's look at 12Z, and it was a completely different animal, right? Especially yesterday. Let's look at yesterday. Wow. Yesterday was just, wow. Like, and then midnight last night, or midnight this morning, is also, look at this. It's already starting to shift further south. But then you have the other models, especially the RGEM model, the Canadian. Let's look at the Canadian run. So the Canadians just starting to come in now. So let's look at the UK Met run. So let's look at the midnight run. Looks like the midnight run has not come in yet. But as you can see, UK Met is showing a further north system. And let's look at the NAM now. NAM, very far north. So yeah, do not trust that GFS run. I'm telling you right now, do not trust that GFS run. Do not trust it, because we might actually end up on the warm sector of the system. It may end up going so far north we actually hardly get any snow. Like, you can actually see what's actually going to be happening. So look at the center of the system. Because if the system ends up going further south, say it's actually here, we're going to get all this heavy snow. The NAM is trying to say, no, we're going to get all this rain coming in. Yeah, the NAM is trying to say we actually might get rain or mix. The NAM is completely just throwing a wrench in the model. Like, it's throwing a huge freaking wrench. And it's literally a 12-hour system. Look at this, 12 hours. Boom, and it's out of here with the NAM. It's really quick. It's in and out in a flash, in a blink of an eye. Don't mind this run. You're not going to get any snow in New York City from this. So this is the storm, I think, that's going to do it for New York. This is going to be the big storm that's going to do it for New York City. And as you can see, there's going to be hardly any snow. Do not trust these runs, please. For the love of God, do not trust these runs. Just do not. I ask you, do not trust these runs. This one I trust. I do trust this run because it's factoring precip more accurately. You might have some mixing. There will definitely be mixing going on, but snow, no. You won't have snow, guys. I mean, look. Okay. It's going to go down the low 40s tonight, maybe upper 30s, low 40s. But then you're going to have this big system coming through. Let's see, where am I? was incredibly difficult because of my autism, but the staff at Keller helped me so much. And I went to help to make new students feel welcome, like I have been welcomed. I would like to do it in your way. Oops. Oh, hey. Yeah. Right. That's weird. I can't find your weather. Yeah, I want to make you RA. Okay, let's see. And moderator. Yeah, hey, weather with Seth. Thank you so much for joining. Right now, I am waiting for the European model to come in. And I'm waiting for the Canadian, the RGEM model to fully finish loading. So I'm just waiting for the... So I've been looking at the GFS, I've been looking at the NAM, so I'm trying to basically combine all this. This is definitely not going to happen. I can assure you this right now. Do not go with the GFS, please. Like, if you think this storm is going to be a bust, oh, it's going to the south, it's going to the south, do not go with the GFS, please. I urge you, do not go with the GFS. It is way too early, and almost all the other models are trending further north as of the 12Z. The 0Z GFS, I know, has been trending further south, but the GFS has a very bad tendency of getting forecasts wrong, especially since the NAM, which is a very trustworthy model, is showing a very strong track north, and it usually handles precip pretty well, especially convective especially convective and dynamic forcing. The GFS does more well with placement of the lows often. The GFS often does well with placement of the lows, but not so much with precipitation. As you can see, if the low were to be off of Delmarva, which is not much further south than New Jersey, you would very likely have extremely heavy snow right over and just a little bit to the north of New York City. Just check this out. Okay. So say you have the storm right here. Look where you have the heaviest precip. Right over New York City. And look, way to the north. So let's think that's going to happen, right? So it's going to have the heaviest snows right over New York City. And of course, this NAM is showing this is going to be a very fast mover. It does well with precip. GFS does better with usually placement of the lows and maybe... Usually when it does well with precip, like, it doesn't handle winter storms very well. I don't know if you remember Winter Storm the Weather Channel dubbed Winter Storm Jonas. Winter Storm Jonas, the biggest storm in the Northeast history that hit, basically gave areas from Pennsylvania all the way through New York City over 2 feet of snow. It literally said the storm was going to stay toward south 4 days. That it was going to. It literally showed New York City getting just flurries or hardly any snow, and the NAM was trending further and further north, and so did the SREF plumes. This SREF were the ones that said it was going to go north. And guess what the SREF is saying? Going right over New York. Look where the heaviest of the snow where the SREF is. Look at this. 12 inches or greater, a foot or greater. Look at that. Look at that. Foot or greater. Right there. Boom. All these heavy snows going right into central Pennsylvania and just to the north. So, very accurate model. The SREF usually does very well, especially when it's 50, 60 hours out. I mean, this is a little far out, but look. 12 inches or greater. So, blockbuster snows, very likely. 8 inches or greater. New York City is in the 25%. So central Pennsylvania is in the 70 to 80%. Look at that. 1 inch or greater, 100%. There's 100% confidence. Let's see, 4 inches or greater. 80 to 80. That is 90. That is 80 to 90% confidence right there. 1 inch. That is almost 90 to 100% confidence right there. Or even greater than 100%. Because see, that's 75%. That's 70 to 80, 80 to 90. So 90 to 100% confidence. And then here, 4 plus inch, that's 70 to 80% confidence. 8 plus inches, that is 1, 2, 3, that's 1, 2, 3, that's 70 to 80% confidence right there of 8 inches or greater. And let's say a foot or greater, you have 50 to 60% confidence right there. That's going to be your sweet spot right there. And look at that 12 inches mean. You'll probably have white there very soon. Probably have the whole area of white. A lot of snow going to be coming in with this system. Okay, make sure you're a moderator. Hey, guys. Let's look at total snowfall accumulation. This is based on the UK Met. UK Met showing is going to be further north. So there's actually more of a chance of New York City actually being on the warm sector of the storm than what the GFS is saying. So actually there's more of a chance that the system will end up going north of New York City than what the GFS is suggesting. Why? Because the trends in the models are showing that. When you have trends in the models, I mean, there's something going on in the atmosphere that's most other models are picking up that the GFS is not. What could it be? What could the GFS be missing that other models are picking up on? Let's look at Mid-Atlantic, right? Or let's look at North America. See, what is the GFS missing? Okay. It is very likely missing on the amplification of this low right here. Okay, you see this right here? 72. You see how the amplification is different, right? You have a slightly different amplification. Let's look at yesterday. You had a different amplification. Look at that. You see how far down this was here? And now let's look at hour 93. Compare it to now. See? It's different. So let's look at hour 75. Look at it again. See? You have a different amplification, slightly different amplification. See? Here, it looks a little tighter. Look at that. You see this sharp up curve here, but now I'm looking at the current run, it's a little more zonal. So it takes a long, and then look how zonal it becomes. You see this right here? How it flattens out? The GFS also flattens it out, but a little about here. So this allows the storm to come a little further north. What about the NAM? Let's look at the NAM. The NAM does not flatten out. In fact, it tightens up the circulation. It tightens up the 500 millibar circulation. Why? Why? Let's look at vorticity. vorticity levels. You want to look at vorticity. See, you have vorticity. So this is the system that's supposed to bring us all the snow. And vorticity, very high vorticity. So again, let's look through the GFS. Let's look at vorticity. You have very weak vorticity with the GFS. So very weak vorticity at 500 millibars. That is what the GFS is missing, is the vorticity. GFS is factoring different vorticity. So right here, look what happens. It does a typical strengthening east of the Rockies. The GFS does not do that. The GFS, look what the GFS does. Look what the GFS does again. Does not really strengthen the low east of the Rockies as much as it's supposed to. So there is definitely something wrong with the GFS. Look. And you will have this, you see this circulation, and then you'll have, secondary low forming here. And let's look at 250 millibars. So here you have winds. Okay, this has more to do with the upper level flow. Now we'll have a jet streak. Look at that. Boom, very fast jet streak. Okay, the GFS, again, probably does not do that. Let's look at wind speed. You'll probably have it, but not as much, right? So you'll still have that jet streak. So fast jet streak, right? But let's look at this. So different circulation. Let's look at the ensembles, the GFS ensembles, because some of them are factoring that probably further push north. And look, and as a matter of fact, the operational is actually further north. The ensembles are further north than 18Z. Look at that. See the edge of the orange? Let's look at that orange line right there. That orange line. Okay. Now look. Boom, it's further north. See? 18Z. Compare 18Z to current run. Yep, it's further north. So there is a jog to the north. Definitely is. Let's look at 18Z, 12Z. Let's compare 12Z to now. Further north. Is it because of the earlier run? Not so much. See, heavier precip here. In fact, as a matter of fact, guys. Yes. I forgot to mention. Yes, that could actually be because of the precip. Very similar to 12Z. Okay, so then let's compare 12Z, right? Let's go to our 120 compared to 12Z. Still, it is further north, as you can see. You see where this ends? See the northern extent? That's Port Jervis. Boom, further north. Let's look at mean snowfall accumulation. Compare here, our 132. Or let's look at our 108. Compare it to 18Z, to 0Z. Boom, more snow, look at that, 12 over a foot. You see, the GFS ensembles are onto something. So you cannot. How much snow is Providence, Rhode Island getting? Providence, Rhode Island, it's not going to get that much snow. Let me look at the NAM. Let me look at the other models and I'll show you. Providence is definitely going to get a pretty good amount of snow. Let's see. So the storm will kind of be south of New England. So I don't like this though. Look at that. Well, NAM is having a rain snow line going into Providence, but precip tight. But you'll probably have surface temperatures being really cold. So yeah, you're gonna stay in the cold side of things on the surface side. But let's look. You're gonna stay on the cold side. So Providence will be below freezing the entire time. But let's look at the SKU-T, the SKU-T plots. What? That's weird. Huh. Looks like I can't do a sounding for Providence. apparently. Okay. In that case, so sounding for Providence in terms of, yeah, I'm unable to do soundings. That's weird. Okay, maybe I'll do it with this run. Okay. Let me see, what hour was it? Hour 78. Okay. Let's look at the NAM. 6 hours accumulated QPF. Let's look at the NAM 3km. Let's look at hour 78. That's when we had that. That was about the time. That's Providence right there. So let's look at the sounding. What precip is it going to be? Looks like it's going to be snow. Sleet and snow. There's the 30 degree line. Mm-hmm. Let's do hour 78 then, or 75. Precip type for Providence. Looks like all snow. Based on this run. I mean, this is one model run, but I don't think Providence is going to be getting that. Let's look at the Euro model. Let's look at the Canadian, because that's what I trust more. Total QPF. Precip type. Let's look at winter weather. Let's look at total snowfall accumulation. About 12 inches. Let's look at hour 60. Looks like about a foot for New York City. Let's do non-Kuhera. Let's look at the 10 to 1 snowfall ratio. Yeah. Let's look at the wrap. Yeah. Let's look at 1 hour snowfall accumulation. No. Okay. Let's look at the high resolution Canadian. Let's look at regions. Mid-Atlantic. Let's look at Mid-Atlantic, because I want to be able to see the low pressure system coming in. Let's look at surface and precip. So let's look at the 12Z. I'm going to tell you hour 78. What is going to be the difference now? So a little further east. Maybe it is trending further south. Maybe there is a trend in the models now. Let's look at hour 96. Actually, hour 84. See, right over Delmarva. Still over Delmarva. Okay, and 1002. Let's look at 6 hour QPF. So let's go to 72, or 78 actually is better. So heavy precip, so it's more concentrated now. So this is actually around 3 p.m. So snow just starting to come in. Precip type and rate, snow just starting to come in. Basically, I mean, snow line is in a similar area. Let's look again, 6 hour QPF. Let's go to hour 90 or 84. Is that dry slot there? What causes the dry slot to come in? Probably right there. Dry slot, Yep, there's definitely. Oh my lord. Yeah, there's still gonna be a dry slot. Or wow, yeah, this model has a lot more snow. Okay, there's definitely something wrong with the total QPF. Okay, yeah, that is that is three. Oh my god! Oh my god, Sean! Look at what you're gonna get. Oh my lord! Oh my lord! And I'm not even doing Kuihera. Boom! Three! Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, let's do regional. Okay, let's do regional. I can't do local. Not available for this model. Darn it. But Lancaster, damn! Oh my lord, guys. Oh my lord. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Hmm. Hmm. He wasn't. Well, I'm just. Yeah, I'm just. Oh my god! Oh my lord! Region from the. And this is just incredible. Parts of Morris County in New Jersey. Okay, let's look at the models again. Sorry. I remember you covered the quake. Yes. Yes, I covered the Los Angeles quake. The 2020 Los Angeles quake. Angeles quake. Yeah, Earth was kind of a bust. Oh, maybe I went to Boston just to see. Yeah, it ended up being a bust. It seemed like it was going to be really good, but it ended up being a bust. Too much warm air worked in. Live stream. Past live streams. That's so long. September 19th. Oh yes, let's look at Campi Flegrei because I've been really obsessing over that volcanic hotspot. Okay, so far nothing. Okay, 11 days ago was the last earthquake. You see this here? See, it looks like it's slowing down, right? Oh look, oh it's slowing down. Right. Here's the thing, Campi Flegrei and Vesuvius, they share one magma chamber. In fact, Campi Flegrei is the granddaddy. It's the biggest volcano, while Vesuvius is just the tallest. It's not the biggest one, it's the tallest one. It just sticks out of the ground more. Campi Flegrei is actually covers much more land. It's actually it's called a volcanic field, but it's actually a caldera. The most dangerous volcano of all. It actually, Ischia is part of the Campi Flegrei system. So is Vesuvius. In fact, Ischia is actually outside of the caldera, just like Mammoth Mountain is right on the outer cusp of the Long Valley caldera. Let's see, deformations. Let's look at soil deformations. No, updates. I want to see updates. Recent activity. Let's look at weekly bulletins. And let's look at uplift. Remember that little slowdown and uplift we had? Well, last earthquake there was December 6th. You had small ones. A lot of small quakes. Not detected. Yeah, look at that. Look at that, guys. Uplift at Campi Flegrei is off the charts. That little slowdown I was seeing was probably that right here. It is just off the charts. Uplift has not ceased last several years. In fact, look at this, guys. Let's go back on the weather now. But yeah, Campi Flegrei is uplifting like crazy. I mean, it's a steady uplift. It's steady. It's not like rising feet. It's not like going meters. I mean, it's nothing like what happened in the 80s. Still, nothing compared to what happened in the 80s. This is something else. I mean, but keep in mind, what's happening now is it's slowly uplifting again. See, it's constantly rising in and out, in and out. But keep in mind, in 1960, compared to 68, there was uplift of about almost 3,000 meters, or 3,000 millimeters. Since 1938, 1968, 3,000 mil. That's 118 inches. Oh, so let's convert it to feet. Yeah, 9 feet of uplift. Oh, wow. It just, what, the past 50, even 50, 52 years has been almost 10 feet of uplift in just since 1968. Look at that. 1968. At least 3,000 meters, right? Because this, keep in mind, this ended in 2012. And we were right at about just under 2,500 meters of uplift. So this is where we were. So just around 2,500 meters. So just, so if I could basically just around 2,500 meters, but you see how it's starting to go up again slowly. But since that time, look what's happened. So they started counting anew from that period. They never stopped counting. So look what happened. Another 700 meters. So 2,500 meters plus 670, right? Now 2,500 meters plus 670. That's 3,170 millimeters of uplift, which would put us right around right about here. So yeah, we've gone up by this much in roughly 8 years. Most of it's been rapid, so most of it's been pretty fast. So we're definitely not uplifting at this rate. We're uplifting at a say gradual rate, something more like this. So we're now right about here. This is where we're about at right now. The uplift has been pretty gradual. So this can change, but look at these periods of uplift. One big one, you had a 1,500, and then you had another big one. So, and this was due to volcanic activity. This was due to volcanic gases. Basically what happened was you had a buildup of volcanic gases. And let's look at emissions of carbon dioxide. As you can see, you see it's starting to uptick right here. See, if you zoom in, you're starting to see uplift again right here. In 2000, you had a little period, you had a very brief period of uplift here. See, that was seen there, and now you're starting to see some uplift. You can barely notice it though. So that's the 2000 period. I mean, this has just been ongoing non-stop. Okay, where's the carbon dioxide emissions? Recent activity. Well, I hear the train from all the way from here, and I hear the locomotive. Okay, where do we have emissions? There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. You see, we had a decrease in CO2 emissions right around when we had that earthquake. Look at this. This is January. This is right here, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So right around this period is when you had that major earthquake, and that's what happened. You had a huge decrease in CO2 emissions right here. These are fumarolic emissions. These are not temperatures. These are CO2 emissions. See, CO2. Let's translate this. So looking at CO2. That's CO2 emissions from fumaroles. So it went well below normal, and you're having uplift. So you're having pressure building up, guys. Right there. This is a very bad sign. This is really, really, really bad. When you're having so much uplift, when you're having so much instability, and you're having all this uplift, basically combining with a huge decreases in CO2 emissions. I don't know I think this is like pounds. I don't know if they're using kilograms. They're definitely they're using emissions of CO2 flusso del grams per. So these are grams. These are in grams. You had a significant reduction of CO2 emissions. You know, pretty big reduction there. So let's look at Bing.com. That's just one model. Let's look at another one. Yeah. So let's close that up. That's Campi Flegrei. That is their monitoring. I don't think it's going to erupt soon. I mean, it's basically just like Yellowstone is a living, breathing caldera. As one seismologist, as one director of Yellowstone, Mike Pollan used to say, former director of Yellowstone, Mike Pollan said, it's a living, breathing caldera, Campi Flegrei. Another example of a living, breathing caldera. You have uplift, then you have subsidence, you have uplift, then you have subsidence. But here, you're having really significant uplift. And not only you're having significant uplift, but you have this very strong cap rock called Pozzolana. Pozzolana cap rock is what the Roman Colosseum and many of Roman architecture was built from. It was built from the Pozzolana cap rock, which is among the strongest concrete in the world. It's natural concrete. You basically add lime to it, and you have this really, really resilient and really, really strong concrete. You know, people still do use Pozzolana. It's still being used for modern built purposes today because it's incredibly available. It's readily available. There are Pozzolana deposits all over Italy from the Second Phlegraean period. Second Phlegraean period took place between 30 and 10,000 years ago. The third was more recent, was more not very explosive activity of small eruptions. So there's probably been a lot of pressure buildup in the last basically 20 to 30,000 years. Since the Second Phlegraean period, you've had a lot of pressure build up. Pozzolana eruption. From where? No. It's not from Vesuvius. Well, yeah, because here's the thing. You know why it's called Pozzolana? Because Campi Flegrei. is what I'm trying to show you.
Stanford University.
Please watch this.
In the 1980s, I was a teenager and I was living in the town of Pozzuoli, southern Italy. During that period, the ground was constantly shaken by micro-earthquakes, and they were following a period of intense uplift that lasts more than 2 years. One main question that later on as an adult and as a geophysicist I tried to answer was, what's the nature and the properties of the rocks of Campi Flegrei? Why do those rocks withstand such high strain before breaking? In the Campi Flegrei caldera, there is a lead, which we call a cap rock. The cap rock is made of pozzolana, the volcanic ash from Campi Flegrei. The microstructure of this rock is made of mineral fibers that are called tobemurite and ettringite. Tobemurite and ettringite are minerals that are found in man-made concrete, including Roman concrete. Actually, Romans engineered their concrete by using the pozzolana from Pozzuoli and mixing the pozzolana with lime. The Romans used the concrete to build the Pantheon, the Colosseum, but they also shipped the pozzolana throughout the Mediterranean, making possible the construction of several harbors. So once we found tobemurite and ettringite in the cap rock of the Campi Flegrei, the question was, where does the lime come from? So at that point, we decided to analyze the rocks that are deeper in the caldera. And by analyzing those rocks, we discovered that those rocks contain spherules of graphite and a mineral that is called actinolite. Those two components were really the proof to demonstrate that the deep rocks of the Campi Flegrei calderas decompose because of heat and the presence of mineral fluids that lead to the formation of compounds like methane and CO2, but most importantly, the lime. The lime that forms a bed then reacts with the pozzolana-rich layer, transforming that layer into a concrete-like rock. Tobemurite and ettringite form a very intricate network of fibers. The cap rock of Campi Flegrei, because of the presence of fibers, is able to withstand much larger deformation without immediately breaking. And that's the main reason why the town experienced such large deformation, which is much larger compared to any other calderas in the world. If we understand both chemical and mechanical conditions that we may have in calderas, that can help us devise new materials that are capable of withstanding larger stresses, as well as novel technique for restoring aging architecture.
Yeah. Yes, but there's a problem with that cap rock. This. Oh wait, I'm already actually subscribed. Yeah, wait, I already was a member. I mean, my subscription, because I watched that documentary like a year ago. I just, I think I asked it to make it annual. So anyway, let's go back to the weather for now. Yeah, this is. Chemical Cyclone is not a super volcano because it's never had a VEI8, so it's a volcano. It's not a super volcano. I don't know why. Okay, if you're calling Campiflagrai a super volcano, then call Mount Toba a super volcano, even though it's a stratovolcano. Call Mount Samalis a super volcano. Call Nova Rupta. Oh, Nova Rupta is not a super volcano, right? It is called a super volcano. And sulfur dioxide and caused a big episode of global cooling. Only lasted a few years, but okay. Now let's look at the UK Met. Finally, just came in, or just coming in now. The weather. Let's look at 10 hours. 10. Yes. And then let's add precipitation type. Let's look at 2 meter above ground temperatures, right? Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna be rain. Look at this. Look at all these warm temps coming in. Why are they showing such warm temps? So at that time, New York City would be getting heavy precipitation, very heavy, from here to here, moderate to heavy precip. So right on the edge. It's only one model, so model. having southwest winds, even though it looks like you're having northwest. You're actually having southwest winds. I mean, you're really close to the low where how the winds are blowing, right? No way in the teens. Oh wait, let's read why. Of course. In southern Italy, capital Italy has been showing signs of reawakening over the past 67 years, and new research indicates the volcano has been building energy throughout this period, increasing the risk that it will erupt. Campi Flegrei is a huge volcanic field that sits about 9 miles to the west of Naples, a city home to over 1 million people. It is made up of 24 craters and edifices and appears as a large depression on the surface of the land. The volcano last erupted in 1538, or the new mountain eruption, or Nuovo Monte, if you want to say it in the English way, or in the correct way, Monte Nuovo, or New Mountain. Monte Nuovo. The Monte Nuovo eruption occurred in 1538, after almost a century of pressure building up. But though it lasted a week, this was a comparatively small one. Compared to 40,000 years ago, it produced a super colossal eruption. This is the second highest measure on the volcanic explosivity index, the first being megacolossal. Like those seen at the Yellowstone supervolcano at the U.S. hundreds of thousands of years ago. Actually, tens of thousands of years ago. The Yellowstone last had a super eruption 150,000 years ago, which formed the West Thumb Crater Lake, and it's connected to Yellowstone. The West Thumb of Yellowstone Lake is actually produced by a VEI 7 eruption a super colossal 150,000 years ago. So I would not say that Yellowstone is overdue, considering there already was a large super eruption only 150,000 years ago. Weston Lake eruption, the eruption that formed Weston Lake very likely sent volcanic ash into the Midwest, but like accumulating ash like where it was inches deep, probably across almost all of Wyoming, parts of Montana, especially like southern Montana, and maybe extending into the westernmost part of Idaho. Probably easternmost part of Idaho got some ashfall. Since it was a VI7, and that is extremely explosive, and that is a caldera, you likely had a Krakatoa to Tambora size eruption, so probably you had ash going back maybe 20, 30 miles, maybe 50, 60 miles west, so probably extending into eastern Idaho, into the easternmost part of Idaho. Probably within the vicinity of Yellowstone National Park, you probably had ash fall between 1 to 3 feet. Like within the perimeter of the park, and outside was probably less. Right near the park, you probably might have had pyroclastic flows that went out 20, 30, 50, 60 miles from the eruption site. It probably would not have like devastated the Midwest, but it would change the climate regionally for perhaps a couple of years, but not. I would not say it would cause a global climate shift because considering how far north Yellowstone is. So VI7 at Yellowstone might send some sulfur into the southern hemisphere, but not much. But it would likely change the weather in the northern hemisphere, especially the Arctic. It would likely cause a huge increase in the polar vortex because you would have a lot of Arctic ice. A lot of sun. The polar regions become colder, which would strengthen the polar vortex. In fact, the Raycock eruption, while it was only a VI4, may have put enough sulfur into the stratosphere, considering how it caused all these sunset color changes during the fall and late summer, early fall, like mid to late fall of 2019. May have been why this winter was so warm in the United States, why VAO was mostly positive during the winter, despite contrary signs from Siberia, such as snow cover. I think that is why this winter was so warm, or this last winter was so warm, the 2019-2020 winter was so warm, and I always suspected it was the volcanic eruption in the Kuril Islands was responsible for that. Even though it was a low-end VI4, considered a VI4, actually I think it was a VEI5, something akin to Mount St. Helens. The eruption at Raycock was likely high-end VEI4, low-end VEI5. It probably had a very big eruption that lasted a few hours. But that big eruption, even though it was really quick, wasn't put enough material into the stratosphere to be considered VI5. You could have a very brief eruption that could put so much material into the atmosphere that it could change the global climate. An eruption doesn't always have to persist for weeks to change the global climate. You could have a one-day eruption to do that. For example, the Mount 'Pinatubo eruption lasted for the climatic part of the eruption, the most powerful part of the eruption only lasted a few hours. And yet it put out enough material to cause, to cause so much ash to be released into the atmosphere, so much sulfur, that it actually cooled down the global climate for a couple of years and caused some really, really cold weather, especially the winter of 94, 95, 93, 94 was some of the coldest winters. January 94 featured some of the coldest winters in New York City's history, even though there wasn't much snow that winter. It was very cold. Also, you had, pretty significant cooling globally, especially in the northern hemisphere. And that was only a low NVEI 6. Yeah, I would definitely vote for that. Not only do I support the abolition amendment, I would support the person going to their regular job and being paid their regular rate before. Because the prison industrial complex is basically legalized slavery. That's all it is. It's horrible. Removing this exception to the 13th Amendment banning slavery is a necessary step to ensure that the United States isn't the last country to condone slavery in any form. While no one's opposed the bill, some have objected it will collapse entire prison labor complex. Yes. Yes. Good. It needs to collapse. Yes. Good. These corporations who take advantage of prison labor should be ashamed of themselves. Yes, thank you. And plus, in America, prisoners are kept in horrible, horrible conditions. And I'm not talking about horrible people. Violent criminals only make up a tiny percentage of the U.S. prison population. Most people are there for petty crimes like drug possession and distribution. You could literally give your friend, you could actually just be selling weed, which is not even considered a serious drug in southern states. In some states, you could actually get life. And lots of people got life in prison. There have been people who got life in prison just for selling weed. Just in some countries, for example, in Singapore, you could get executed just for selling weed, for weed. It's horrible, it's inhumane, but it is what it is. And that's why we need to fight it. It is what it is, but we need to fight it. We need to stop more of this from happening. To open the commerce flow to inmates, manufactured items. Prison violence and recidivism. Yeah, let me tell you, a Republican, of course, he knew exactly what it was going to do. Basically, it became used as a means of legalized slavery. That's all it did. Yeah, being paid pennies an hour, literally 10, like, just want to, and yet food is expensive. Like if you, sometimes they feed you so little that you're forced to buy prison food. Like you have to go to the markets and they charge you like. Are you kidding me? Wow. This is horrible. Wow. I tried for prison. Oh shoot, I muted myself. I was muted the whole freaking time. Damn it. Charging inmates perpetuates mass incarceration. Yes, it does. Main charges for up to $80 a day in a county jail, because these fees are very detrimental to right-sizing our justice system. Wow. For all or a fair portion of the only subsistence cost, consideration shall be given to prisoners' ability to pay. Wow, this is disgusting. Because they almost they pay you cents an hour, and then they ask everything back. This is slavery. This is basically, they're like, they give you like $10 and say, oh, I need that $10 back. You can't have it. So the money, so working is just, it's basically for show. It's basically saying, oh, we're paying you, but it's actually a slavery. So if this is still ongoing in the United States, it's horrible. I mean, Norway doesn't do this, of course. And there are certainly better ways to deal with those mental illness, with those whose mental illness exhibits itself in criminal behavior. Just look to Norway. That's what the Detroit News did in Dispatch and Reporter. There's criminal mental ill populations. My God, this is amazing. Oh no, that's really sad. Wisconsin F-15 pilot whose plane crashed in UP dies. It's really sad. Recognizing that a large percentage of those who get locked up have mental illness, the Norwegians front load the prison experience with analysis and therapy. It's a more costly approach, but if it leads to shorter prison stays, lower reincarceration, recidivism rates, and fewer wasted lives, it could be a huge money saver in the long run. So it's not only like people being treated better, but it's actually eliminating all these problems in prisons. Like, of course, many American state prisons don't want to do this because guess what? Not only is America's criminal justice system punitive, and it's hardly rehabilitative at all. It's like, I would say 85% punitive and 15% rehabilitative, and that could actually be an optimistic perspective. It might even be worse. It may be like 95% punitive and 5% rehabilitative. For convicts who are not mentally ill, the prison system in Norway provides skill training to prepare them for the workplace and socialization skills aimed at diverting them from crime. Adapting a version of the Norwegian system would require a major shift in how we view criminal justice. No, it would not, like it does, because America is so, the criminal justice system is so effed up right now. If all we want to do is punish, then the current version works. But if redeeming lives is the goal, as it should be, then we must adopt a radically different attitude towards criminals. First, we must recognize that not all criminal activity is motivated by greed or evil intent. Nearly 1/4 of Michigan's 38,000 inmates are mentally ill, according to the Corrections Department. Simply locking them up will not cure their illness, nor deter them from future crimes. In fact, the 1/4, those are people who are actually diagnosed. In fact, many crimes are caused by mental health issues. For example, I have borderline personality disorder. People with BPD sometimes have emotional issues. People who have emotional issues and autism, like I do, may be seen as I've been called a drug addict. Someone thought I was on drugs. And a police officer may think I'm on drugs, and guess what? Arrest me. And because I'm autistic, I might get scared. I might have a flight or fight response and try to escape because I'm scared. And guess what? I get in trouble. For example, this is what happened. Just watch this video.
District teenager in Arizona is speaking out about a confrontation with a police officer who left him with multiple cuts and bruises. The 21-minute encounter was caught on the officer's body camera. The cop tackled the boy after mistaking his mannerisms for signs of drug use. Jamie Youth spoke with the teen and his mother. She's at the park in Buckeye.
That's only the tip of the iceberg.
Outside Phoenix, where this incident occurred. Jamie, good morning. Good morning.
Of course, thankfully he didn't have any charges faced against it, but let me show you something else. This is really disgusting, but finally, well, yeah, it drops felony charges, but he was convicted actually. Yeah, he's black and autistic, as you can see. So, yeah. So he was being discriminated against for being black and for being autistic. In fact, from detention to detainment in Virginia, this is basically a combination of the school to prison pipeline, the fact that America is an incredibly racist and prejudiced country. Oh, shit. I'll have to meet the... Where's the meat? Hey. Hello? Hey, sorry, I was doing a live stream before. Is it okay if I continue, or should I stop?
Yeah, you can continue.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's fine. I muted it. I muted my mic.
I'll mute myself.
Thanks. What time do you want me to get off the computer? Thanks. I'll get off in about 40 minutes. And plus, planning on getting off at that time anyway. Thank you. Let me shut off. Let me set my alarm. Thank you. So as you can see, stuff like this still occurs in America. I mean, it's really disgusting what's happening in this country, especially to people like Caleb Moon Robinson. I mean, it's just really, really wrong. And his story is not unique, sadly. There's been so many cases like it. I mean, for example, in Michigan, 38,000 are, out of 38,000, a quarter are having mental health issues, including autism, and are, mainly minorities, mainly black people, Hispanic, Latino, and as I said, people with disabilities, mental health issues. If we adopt a more just and more humane system, stuff like this would stop happening. We should not be punishing people. We need to be rehabilitating people. America has always been a punishment first country. It's not working. This system does not work. Change the damn system, guys. Change it. I mean, in Norway. Okay, let me continue reading. Let me continue reading the article. That should start with a better overall mental health system in Michigan, which is currently a laggard in identifying and treating those with mental disorders. By the way, Michigan is not the worst state in the country in terms of incarceration. It's the South. If the mentally ill do end up committing a crime, they should be sent to facilities designed to treat them, rather than to prison. Michigan has one mental health prison facility that mimics the Norway approach, but it can only house 200 patients or prisoners at a time. For the rest of the convict population, the period of incarceration should be from day one focused on preparing them to re-enter society, rather than handling down sentences for specific periods of time. 5, 10, 10 to 20. The goal should be to lock them up until they are fully rehabilitated and release them. Time spent behind bars should be determined by the inmate's progress rather than the calendar. Keeping someone locked up after they are no longer a threat to their fellow citizens is cruel and expensive. Finally, prison sentences should be reversed for those we truly fear. For all others, alternative forms of punishment, including work programs, financial penalties, and community service, should be employed. Basically, say you have a serial killer, or who committed horrible crimes, they should be kept in prison until they are no longer a threat to society. Because they're likely going to repeat, or maybe say they have mental health issues and that's why they did it. Treat the issue, see if they still have those ideations, and if they don't, maybe instead of moving them from a prison, send them to a mental health facility. That's what should be done. That's what's being done in Norway. Basically, as you can see, you have these 8 problems of mass incarceration in the United States, and it's not getting any better now. It was, but not anymore. And most of these prison populations are all mostly comprised of state prisons, mostly state prisons. So let's go back again and look at. By the way, the European model is coming in very soon, so it should be coming in a few minutes. Fighting the fees. In fact, in the United States, Florida is horrible. I was looking at Florida just now. Let's look at Florida. Florida, room and board. County and municipal inmates can be charged for all or a portion of daily subsistence cost. That's what it says. Pay to stay charges. Hawaii doesn't have any. Data not available. Oh, let's look at Illinois. Inmates of the Department of Corrections are responsible to reimburse the department for the expenses incurred by the incarceration at a rate which shall be computed by the department as the state per capita cost for all inmates of that institution or facility for that fiscal year. Let's look at Louisiana, which is, I think, the worst of the worst. The sheriff can require jail inmates to provide reimbursement for the cost of room and board from any inmate incarcerated in the parish facility, provided such reimbursement is approved by the judge who sentenced the inmate, and provided the amount of such reimbursement as is a uniform and reasonable amount established by the Department of Public Safety and Corrections by rule. State inmates who participate in workforce development release are subject to deductions for room, board, and other administrative and incidental costs resulting from participation in a workforce development work release program, not to exceed 70% of the gross wages received by an inmate. 70% is pretty much. Medical fees, the governing authority, each parish is authorized to obtain reimbursement from a county jail inmate for his medical and dental expenses. Wow, this is disgusting. Inmates can be charged for clothing. Jeez, this is disgusting. I'm not surprised. And Georgia, room and board and medical. Louisiana, charge room and board, medical, and other stuff too. Wow. Texas, medical fees. Texas, they just charge medical. At least they don't charge for room and board. Yes?
Service died.
Oh, sorry. That's all right.
Sorry. Continue.
Oh, thanks. Okay. In Texas, a person who is or was a prisoner in a county jail and received medical, dental, or health-related services. So it's okay. Apply for reimbursement. Okay, so it's medical Oklahoma, room and board medical. Wow. New York, room and board. If while working in prison, inmates can be required to pay an incarceration fee not to exceed $1 per week for each week of confinement to help defray costs. This fee can be waived if the collection of the fee is determined to be an unreasonable hardship or the prisoner or his or her immediate family. Let's look at Mississippi. Medical fees. Let's go to Alabama. Room and board and medical. $20 per day? What the heck? Room and board. Fees for county jail inmates charged with a misdemeanor cannot exceed $20 per day, and determining the amount and method of payment of these costs, the court shall take into account the financial resources of the defendant and the nature of the burden that payment of the cost will impose. Minnesota. Room and board. Charges for prison inmates and room and board can be charged to jail inmates based on ability to pay. Charges for prison inmates in job or work release. California. State facility can charge $5 for each inmate initiated medical visit. So for a medical visit. Fee charged to inmate's personal account. No charge if there is no money in account. County or city jail can charge $3 for each inmate initiated medical visit. Fee charged to inmate's personal account. No charge if there is no money in account. Room and board can be charged if inmate has job or work release. Fees cannot exceed actual demonstrable costs. Well, let's look at the state of Washington. Oh, wow. Okay. If the court determines that the offender at the time of the sentencing has the means to pay for the cost of incarceration, the courts may require the offender to pay for the cost of incarceration at a rate of $50 per day of incarceration. If incarcerated in a prison, or the court may require the offender to pay the actual cost of incarceration per day of incarceration. If incarcerated in a county jail, in no case may the court require the offender to pay more than $100 per day for the cost of incarceration. When an inmate under the authority of the Department of Corrections receives any funds in addition to his or her wages or gratuities, the funds shall be subject to a deduction of 20% to the Department of Corrections to contribute for the cost of incarceration. The amount deducted from an inmate's ability to pay for incarceration shall not exceed the department total cost of incarceration for the inmate incurred during the inmate's minimum or actual term of confinement, whichever is longer. Medical fees. Santa County jails can obtain reimbursement from the confined person for the cost of healthcare services, including reimbursement from any insurance program or from other medical benefit programs available to the confined person. As part of a judgment and sentence, the courts are authorized to order defendants to repay all or part of the medical costs incurred by the governing unit or provider during confinement. Under no circumstances shall necessary medical services be denied or delayed because of disputes over the cost of medical care or a determination of financial responsibility for payment of the costs of medical care provided to confined persons. Okay. Well, this is horrible. Vermont. Room board, a state inmate participating in the work release program will have deducted from earnings an amount determined to be equivalent to the cost of providing for the living expenses of the inmate. Massachusetts. Let's see. Reasonable fees can be charged. Okay, that's too vague. Room and board. Okay. Charge is based on ability to pay. Okay. Oh. All right. Now let's look at the euro. Let me put the stream out now. Copy video link. European should just be coming in now. So let's look at this run now. Let's look at it. Let's see if this model run has changed. Not by much, just a little bit. Much weaker system. So, yeah. Six-hour QPF. Let's go hour 84. That's some pretty heavy stuff coming in. Let's look here. Boom. Oh my lord. Oh man. Of course that's to the south, but still. Wowza. In New York City, I see the white coloring. The white coloring is almost an inch of QPF. Hour 96. And this is not this run. This is the yesterday's run. Oh wow! Look at this. Wow! Incredible! Just crazy. So let's look at total QPF. Let's look at meter temperatures. 72, 78. So it looks like snow will be falling in New York. Let's look at total QPF as of hour 78. Total QPF 90. Oh my god! No way! No way! Come on. 850 millibar temps? Come on, this has to be a joke. Come on. Really? This has to be a joke. Let's see 12Z. $84. And 125 millibar temp. So definitely cold. 6-hour QPF snow. 6 inches, 84. Oh my god! Woo! Oh my god. Total snowfall. Let's see that. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. That's very close. That's really, really close, guys. Let's look at the European now. Come on, Euro. What are you showing me? Oh, sorry, my bad. European high res. Come on. Continental US, regional, Mid-Atlantic. 6-hour QPF. Okay, let's now look at Mid-Atlantic. Let's look at the Southeast US. Let's look at the surface. So surface low, we should be developing around this time in early Wednesday morning. Surface low should be developing right off the coast of Georgia. So let's see. So definitely this looks like a weaker system. So this is okay. Regions, the Atlantic. error ratio. Alright, so let's look at the euro. Should be done in a few minutes. Regions. Hour 16, let's go to AGL. Regions Southeast. 60. Still 1,014 millibars. $78. Showing 1,008 millibars. Hour 72, where we are now, showing 1,012. I'll be right back. I'll be back in a sec. What is it? Where's my mask? That was scary. Oh shit, that was pretty scary. Just now, as after I closed the door, I sat down. I just had a heart murmur. I literally felt like something was. I felt this weird feeling in my chest, and when I placed my heart, I just had an irregular heartbeat. I've had this before. It's something I haven't had in a long time. Oh, look at this. Oh my lord. Look at that. Huge changes in the euro. Guys, we're having huge changes in the European run right now. Look at that. A much weaker system. I knew something like this was going to happen. I was kind of worried about it, but I was like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Looks like it has. Indeed, the euro has definitely gotten a lot weaker. Oh, never mind. Okay, let's look at this now. Okay. Oh my God. No way. No way. Oh my God. Yeah, if you want to know, this is really bad. Okay, this is like, okay. Let's look at 2-meter temperatures. Oh my. Okay, above freezing temps in New York City. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Trend is going further north. Do not trust the GFS. I said it in the beginning of the video. Everything is going north. New York City, I'm sorry, but you're going to get rain. You're going to actually get rain because everything is going too far north now. And now, yeah, look what's going to be happening at hour 84. Everything is going too dang far north. Sorry, but you probably ain't going to get that much snow. I mean, let's look at where the type and rate is going to be. What is New York City going to be getting in hour 90 or hour 84? Let's go here. Looks like it's going to be snow, but then, look at that. It's going to be really close, like, oh my God, it's going to be so close. Let's look at hour 925. Let's look at 850 millibar temps, right? Looks like it's going to be cold enough for snow, right? Right? Let's look at 925 millibars, temps. So, okay, let's do a sounding. Hour 78. So 34 degrees at surface. So yeah, it's going to be snow. Okay, we're still looking snow, according to Euro. However, let's look at surface winds, 25 mil. East northeast wind. So you're going to be having not a slightly northerly component to the wind. Very strong winds. Wow. Those winds are going to be really strong. Surface and precipitation winds. Okay, I still cannot find where the winds will be. So you're going to be having a northeast wind. So probably going to be having a northeast component here. So you're probably going to have a northeast wind. Even though the wind bumpers are going to be here, actually the surface might have more of a northerly wind. Those are hurricane force winds according to the European. I mean, those are hurricane force winds. Incredible. And you're going to go below freezing rather, well, 700. But okay, so if this ends up happening, let's look at surface level precip type rate. So you should be just ending snow. Okay. Let's compare yesterday today. Not a major difference. In fact, stronger low, so you might have some more precip. 6 hour total QPF. Oops. This is now. This is then. Now let's look at hour 84 for yesterday's. Hour 108. Will New York City get less or more snow? I don't see that much snow in New York City, honestly. Let's look at what will be the. I really hope it doesn't go this far north, the euro. And I really hope this storm goes a little further east so we could actually get some of this stuff too. Of course, Lancaster looks like it might actually get it to your. So let's take away. Let's look at snow potential. So let's see, 0 points, about 1.8. Let's see, 2 point. So you could get change it. So it could flip flop a lot. Let's look at winter weather. Let's look at 10-to-1 snowfall ratio. So let's see. So definitely a lot of snow. Western PA. So yeah, do not trust the European model. I mean the GFS. Do not go with the GFS, guys. Do not go with the GFS. And let's look at Kuhera. Oh, see? Now it's less because you'll be getting more, less cold weather. So according to the GFS, you'll be getting less cold weather mixing in. So the heaviest snow will be north. So let's look at total. Here, so New York City says, 14, 15 inches. Let's look at Kuhera, and boom, you're now down to a foot. So let's look at earlier run. So things are in roughly the same area. Let's look at Mid-Atlantic. Let's look at local southern New England. New York City should be getting just 10 to 12 inches of snow. My area, it looks like now it's not going to be getting as much. Let's look at last night's run. So as you can see, with each consecutive midnight run, it's actually going further south. So let's look at 12 and look at again 12. So you see, compared to this run, it is further south. Look how far Long Branch was at 3.2 inches. Manhattan was 10.9. Now Manhattan's 12.8. Long Branch, Tom's River is 2.7. Same time last night, 2.9. But look at Eastern Long Island having 1 inch of snow. Now it's getting close. So it is actually a little further south. This run is trending just a little bit further south. So let's see, northern New Jersey has almost over 2 feet of snow yesterday. This was over Middletown. See, things are trending just a little bit south now. So basically, the euro is, with snowfall, actually bringing more snow into New York City with the 0Z compared to yesterday's 0Z run. So tomorrow I have to basically, let me see, to do tomorrow. Tomorrow I don't really have any plans. But I do have work on Tuesday, which means I have to be leaving. I'm going to have to go back to my apartment tomorrow. Great. Oh yeah, Simon 5. Okay guys, I'm ending the stream.